Hello, my name is Ariana Marshall, and I'm speaking on behalf of the Green Business Barbados program. In February this year, we were asked to speak at the UNEP UE Caribbean Green Economy Conference in February in Jamaica on private sector sustainability leadership and basically the model of Green Business Barbados, how it's set up, how we've been doing, and the possibilities for replicating it throughout the Caribbean. So we wanted to share this with as many people as possible, and hopefully you can have a understanding of what the goals of our program are and really how we're moving towards creating success stories for this. So we define our program as being based in the Future Center Trust, a nonprofit organization based in Barbados, primarily focused on environmental education. We have the community recycling program core. There's Clean Up Barbados, which is one of the most popular projects of Future Center Trust, and a number of projects related to climate change and just increasing environmental awareness. We have the Brian Luke climate change story for primary school students. So Green Business Barbados has the main goal of facilitating solutions which are locally relevant, globally rigorous, and working towards the future that we want. We're trying to create opportunities for the business smarts or the acumen of businesses to take leadership and solve societal environmental issues and at the same time address internal financial issues. So this is one of the most pressing areas. We would call this our cash line, that we're trying to reduce operational costs. Operational in terms of financial and environmental. And we have the theme of being relevant, reliable, and responsible. So essentially, we're trying to create a model which could be scaled out or replicated in other islands through the Green Business Barbados Standard Assessment. One of the first missions we had within the program was to define what a green business is. So our core purpose was to define what green is as is relevant to the Caribbean. If you take a look, if you do some searches of what a green business is throughout the world, you're going to find very broad definitions, which leaves lots of room for interpretation and even more room for confusion. What I've found in my interactions in Barbados is that there's a perception that green business is mostly related to using solar technology, or there's the extreme that a green business is one that has employees that are all scrupulous environmental activists, which is a very, it's a good ideal. It's the ideal which is one which we can strive for, but we also don't want it to be polarizing in that if you're not an extreme environmental activist, that you don't have a role. And once you understand the interconnectedness of the environment, society, and economy, you'll understand that we really need to go beyond a skewed perspective of what a green business is. We really need everyone, regardless of where you are in what you do, to take some kind of responsibility and take some kind of role in making Barbados or whatever island you're in more sustainable. So we also found that there were opportunities with our program to influence policy, as there was no definition, as far as we know, for a green business legally, yet there are a number of tax incentives which refer to a green business. So we are working with the Barbados National Standards Institute to submit a definition for green business, and we also have the hopes that eventually a green business would be defined as one which is assessed through our program. So mentioned multiple times during this conference was the definition of a green economy. So we started off in our program by just defining a green business as a business committed to facilitating a green economy as defined by the United Nations Environmental Program. And UNEP defines a green economy as one that results in improved human well-being, social equity, while significantly reducing environmental risks and ecological scarcities. What we say on our website is that green businesses can be found in every sector. Green businesses are informed and transparent about how their business ethics and operations impact local society, the global community, and most of all, future generations. The definition which we have submitted to BNSI is that a green business is one where economic, environmental, and social interests align and manifest in the measurement, monitoring, and implementation of sustainable business practices as verified by the GBB certification process. So this is just a view of a few of the businesses which joined our program since 2010. We had 15 businesses join us in a variety of sectors, from the hotel industry to insurance, structural systems. We had entities such as the Barbados Chamber of Commerce and Industry and also the British High Commission. So what have we done between 2010 and 2013? We developed the Green Business Barbados standard with 5 focus areas with over 200 action items. So those 5 areas included waste management, which would include recycling, reducing your use, reusing, primarily solid waste. Then we had energy conservation and renewable energy. Also water conservation and management. Pollution management, which would deal with air, more so air quality, and hazardous disposal of waste. And then lastly, environmental education. The change we made in 2014 was to make environmental education an underlying theme. So all businesses have to deal with environmental education. And we substituted it in for employee well-being and productivity so that businesses will be able to see some direct action items that are related to health. And we took this approach because we want to just change the point of view that the environment is something separate from your own well-being. And we worked with 15 businesses over that period of time with an initiating grant from the government of Barbados. And since then, we received recognition from the Caribbean Green Economy Action Learning Committee, based out of Canary. It's a regional committee, but Canary drives that. And also within the UN Green Economy Scoping Study for Barbados as a private sector catalyst. And then lastly, the Inter-American Development Bank Multilateral Investment Fund identified our program as a project which would serve as a good pilot of how it could be replicated in the Caribbean. So with the Inter-American Development Bank Multilateral Investment Fund funding in 2012, we had the opportunity to expand and strengthen the actual standard. We specifically have to implement the certification with 20 small and medium enterprises, which we're well on our way to doing that. We also had to develop green financial products for these small businesses, and we just launched a mini grant program. And then of course we had to package what we learned, make sure we shared it with as many people as possible, and this is why we were here at this conference. But also to make sure that businesses are motivated to achieve what they want to achieve and what we're asking them to achieve, because they're part of being the first case studies in the Caribbean of demonstrating really that being sustainable pays off in more ways than most of us may even realize. One of the first tasks we took on with receiving the grant to expand was to do a baseline assessment. The program only had one option for businesses to choose. They had to pick all 5 of the focus areas. So we wanted to see what the needs were really of the business community based on working on that one path. And also we wanted to look at the past projects of Futures and Trust to see where there were synergies. We asked businesses directly through interviews and surveys their perspectives, and we also did some governmental interviews. And we found that they gave us some good nuggets from which we had to share with other businesses, such as a 20% reduction in electricity consumption with just minimal interventions. We're not talking about replacing solar systems, but just behavioral changes. And they also found that recycling was one of the greatest achievements. I'm massively summarizing what we found in this baseline assessment. And if you're interested in that, you can contact me later on and I can share more about what we found. We found that there was definitely a value of becoming a green business, and some of the themes included increased awareness and education, of course, cost savings, competitive advantage, and just the importance of being green on our island economy. Businesses found that cost wasn't really a barrier, it was an affordable program, and there were multiple times when we found that there was internal motivation to join the program and finish the program, from CEOs who were internally motivated to finish uh, because of having an ethic of frugality already in their organizational culture, but also businesses that were already working with Future Center Trust but were exceeding their role within the Future Center Trust. They were winning Cleanup Barbados. They were sponsors of Cleanup Barbados, and we could tell that they really wanted to do something more. And as I said, I'm massively reducing what we found, but it was found that waste management was one of the easiest focus areas for them to implement, followed by education and then energy. And we asked them, as that business community, what they thought was the number one priority for our nation, and they said waste management was. So I just have up a few slides so you can get an idea of really how simple the actions are, but simple actions add up, and we want to be able to tell the story of businesses who take steps towards improving their sustainability. So here you can just see a few of the simple ones, such as recycling, centralizing your purchasing, reducing unnecessary deliveries, replacing plastic bags. So that was just under waste management, but we have, as I said, action items under each of those focus areas. So this flow diagram is a picture of how we work. We have 8 coaches now who work with businesses to move them along the path, with my assistance as the coordinator. And also we have a technical committee who we've met with once just to inform them of the program, and then we plan to meet with them again to report on the successes and take any feedback. We also are certifying our program under an ISO, which deals with entities who are administering certification processes. So our certification process will be certified. So we're working on that with Barbados National Standard Institute. We've already had a preliminary analysis, and they say we're on the right path, and we have to formally go through that process. So coming in as a business, your first step would be that you choose a path here. Choose a path, one of our 3 paths, and then you would choose which focus areas you're going to focus in on, whether energy, water and waste, pollution, and energy. So you pick your 3. Or we have another path where you do all 5 of them if you want to do that. Then we do our initial assessment using our Green Business Barbados standard, which is the Excel sheet. And we don't ask you all of these questions all at once. We break it up. We have meetings, we have checklists. But at the end of that process, we have an idea of what tier you are in the program. Then we go on and we develop an action plan, which identifies whether you want to improve your tier, what you want to do with the time, the program time allotted to you based on joining the program. Then we go on to dividing up those hours into whether we're going to do workshops, we're going to do coaching, we're going to help you with collecting data so we can promote you at the end of the certification. We can do tours. Really, we're really flexible on what those hours can do. And then lastly, we do a final certification just to see whether you've improved your tier. And after that, you're Green Business Barbados certified, and we promote you as a green business for a period of a year, because we cannot give a stamp and say continue to do good work, because we know in the business world things change a lot. we ask that you recertify within a year. However, it should become easier. The cost is halved for joining the program, and so are the hours which we devote to, because we want you to keep it running basically on your own. So what we see as the increased benefits, other than just being more sustainable, is that what we're doing is validated marketing. We already have done 3 promotion videos. We've developed our website. On certifying our businesses, we will feature them in our newsletters. We do email blasts all the time. But as opposed to typical marketing, which businesses pay other entities to do, and of course the message is controlled, you are actually getting marketing from a third party, which is saying we have checked that they're doing what they're saying. So listen to us, they are a green business. So it's even more validated. We are seeing more engagement of businesses in defining the Green Business Barbados standard. We had it set up now that 10% of the action items in each of the focus areas can be substituted out, so that we can engage you in putting in action items which more so suit your business. So that we will call that the 10% acumen, or the 10% business smarts. So that really can engage businesses to come up with some innovative ideas, and we can learn from you in that regard. We help you with measuring your goals, your results, and your cost savings. And also, those are critical pieces of information for us to use in marketing you, communicating your value. And you can use that, I'm sure, as well, to further increase the value of your business. And also, considering that one of the main challenges for the program was that businesses needed to actually afford the program, be able to divert funds from something else to our program, we are trying to inform you on the tax incentives related to doing what we're asking you to do. We already have Accel financing saying that one of their microloans could be used for a Green Business Barbados certification. We have a case where we were with another development agency, environmental education agency, which had funding, and they're using their funding to have businesses certified, because basically our goals are very similar in terms of the project. And then lastly, we just launched a mini grant where businesses can use it to either cover the Green Business Barbados certification fees or cover the cost of items within their action plan. So changing light bulbs to energy efficient ones, energy efficient appliances, using biodegradable products, monitoring your pollution, using water quality tests. Like, they're really, it's opening up solutions for one of the most challenging areas of businesses. Where do they get the money to invest into this training? And right now, there are 14 businesses working with us. And this just shows us a variety again of those working with us. We have Williams Solar. One of their highlights was that they've recycled 1,900 pounds of recyclables, paper, plastic. So far, we have Paradise Green Energy. We are working with them to develop some environmental education tools. We have Lynch Insurance Brokers. We have Harris Paints that has implemented a no idle policy. Organic Earth Juice Bar, which has implemented a no plastic bag policy. Ibis Bath and Body, the Good Life Restaurant, Ink Tech was already doing so much on their own and facilitating the greening of other businesses, and so we're happy to have them, as we are with all of our businesses. Shorelines, Studio Blue Architects, all of these businesses are trailblazers. Ace Recycling. We also saw the opportunity to make sure what we're doing is as inclusive as possible, and that we're also providing tools for our businesses to achieve what they want to achieve. And we found that there was a gap in terms of there being somewhere where businesses could go to specifically find out where they could go to find out about recycling, paper, where should they go to buy solar. We also wanted to provide a forum where if a business was open to it, they could have public review so that the public basically shares their perspectives on how the service has gone. And it's not up to us to rate businesses, it's really up to the public. But we ask all businesses if they want to choose this option. Um, and we divided it into sectors: energy, restaurants, household products, healthcare, construction. So you can take a look at this on our website. And we open this to all businesses. It's a free service. We offered the first 100 businesses free for the first year, and it'll be really affordable. Really, it's just to cover a cost of the website to maintain it. So we're hoping that this tool can be very useful for businesses and also for businesses who don't want to join the Green Business Barbados program but may have an international ISO certification, hotels which may have Green Globe, where we will list your certification on this listing just so people know about you. And then if you were to become a Green Business certified, then that would take priority, but we would list all your certifications on here. And it's a map so you can find where these businesses are as well. I mentioned that we now have 3 paths, so I'm just really going to go through these quickly. The PAM path is where you just focus on environmental education, and after completing this, you won't be able to use the actual Green Business Barbados logo, but we identify you as a partner. And we see this as a fundraising tool for our program. It allows for sponsorship of local environmental education projects, or it could specifically do some environmental education initiative that the business wants to work on. Once it can be done within our 4 hours of program time, we can do workshops, tours, infographics. And then, as I said, we list you on the Green Business Barbados website. So this is for businesses who or which may not want necessarily yet to look through their operations, but they want to still do something. So we would advise using the PAM path, and just the minimum amount we require would be $150 for that sponsorship. And in return, we give you 4 hours of time. Then we have the 2 paths of Green Business Mahogany and Green Business Baobab. Mahogany, you would pick 3 of the 5 focus areas, and Baobab, you pick 5 of the 5 focus areas. And with these, the coach support depends on the number of employees in your business. So if you're a business of 15 employees, then in joining the program, you'll receive 30 hours of time. And again, there's a variety in how we use this 30 hours of time on workshops, assessment, monitoring your progress, meetings, tours, developing educational tools. And all of these, both of these paths, we actually do market and promote you as a green business. And you have access to our learning community where we share tips, webinars, just tools to help you with your process and also for you to share the lessons learned. We also plan on doing a Green Employee of the Month competition once we have a cohort of businesses certified, and we're well on our way to doing that. So one of the main questions we were asked at this conference was, how can this model apply in other countries? Really, it can apply quite easily. The simplicity of the questions asked in the standard allow for that. And also, as I mentioned, 10% of the action items can be switched out depending on what the business does, what they come up with. So similarly, in each country, the same thing can be done. And we hope that this kind of develop just that further engagement and ownership of being sustainable. That it's not just a list of actions we're giving you, but you're actually coming up with things on your own. And we're hoping that if another organization was interested in the Green Business Barbados program, that we could have a conversation with them about some of their successes and failures of past projects and how that can serve as platforms to pull in businesses as sponsors to address those failures or build from those successes and just take a step further with any past businesses you've worked with. So just really quickly, the lessons we've learned so far is that there is a willingness for businesses to be transparent, responsible, and proactive because they see it as giving them a competitive edge, because that's really the trend which the world is going to get ahead of having to deal with the issues or the risk of not being transparent. It's just been demonstrated time and time again that it's too costly not to be responsible, not to be proactive. And it could really mean the end of many businesses if we aren't addressing the full impact of how we do business. We're also seeing that the key ways to get businesses into our program, the key drivers are when we mention tax incentives, when we mention the financing options, and when we say that we're going to help you, we're going to market you. But most of all, events have been the way which businesses tune into what we're doing. They want to join the program, but events have been used to kind of secure them on their path. So we were part of the multinational fair in Barbados, and with that, we had about 5 businesses sign up for Green Business Barbados because they wanted to be present at the fair under Green Business Barbados. And we've also found that the program really demonstrates businesses that are focused, that are ready to become leaders in their sector, beyond simply just receiving a green stamp of approval. They're current, they're up to the times in terms of where their industry is going, and they know that sustainability is interwoven into every sector. So what's next for our program is that we're completing the project by October of 2015. And within that, we will have 5 detailed case studies which actually measure the cost savings using quantitative questions and then measuring them against the baseline assessment which we did in the past. What we've done in revising the program in 2014 is that submitting cost savings data is a requirement to receive your certification. So we know we're going to have the stories to tell and the information to tell at the end of this project. We just 2 weeks ago launched the mini grant facility, where we're hoping that aside from initial allocation, which could cover up to 17 businesses joining the program, that this fund and these mini grants can be continued through businesses who join us in the PAM option. So say we have a huge corporation that's able to contribute to the mini grant fund. They would join as a PAM option business. We would give them the 4 hours of time. Maybe they just want to give their huge donation, and that could go on to help other businesses, smaller businesses, and give them mini grants. If you want to talk more about this, I would be happy. We're developing this idea, but the PAM option was designed as a fundraising tool for the program. And we also have to further develop communicating the financial incentives of being sustainable, and we plan on doing a microfinancing workshop where we talk about the mini grant. We also talk about the impact of the mini grant, and then we talk about the number of incentives other than tax incentives, where we can use some of the lessons we're learning from the businesses that are already certified, where they actually saw savings and how they use those savings. So that's the last part of the project we have to develop. So thank you again for your time, and just remember that we really see that this program could be an engaging and fundraising tool for any environmental education organization. It has the purpose of giving businesses a tangible way to get to where they want to be, and they will have the support of the Green Business Barbados team in doing that. And as a result of all of this, we are really excited about the best part, and that is telling your story and sharing your story with others so that you could further be supported and sustained financially. So thank you again for your time. If you'd like to contact me, I can be reached at the following email address or this number in Barbados. You can take a look at the Green Business Barbados website. We have 3 videos on there. One of them is an interview. We went through Bridgetown interviewing people about their idea of why green business was important. Or you can take a look at the Future Center Trust page to see all the other projects that Future Center Trust is involved in. Thank you again.